Hello, callers. Welcome back to Viva Barca, and welcome to another interesting episode where we are going to discuss on some interesting updates. We start with out of favor right back Sergio Dest as Barca PSV need more time to discuss the transfer of the outcast right back. We are going to discuss more on that as we move ahead. Secondly, talking about Ivan Fresneda, as Chelsea have entered the race for the teenage Barca target, the player could cost between 8 and 10 million euros. We are also going to be discussing more on that. So, guys, as we get right into the full stories, please do ensure to subscribe if you haven't. Turn on the post bell notification to always stay notified whenever I post a new video. Consider liking the video and please watch it right up till the very end. According to journalist Marco Temer, he has affirmed that Barca and PSV Eindhoven still need some more time to discuss the potential transfer of Sergio Dest, adding as of today, the changes or the chances of this deal actually happening is still 50-50. It is no secret that Barcelona are desperately looking for ways to offload Dest this summer. The 22-year-old United States international simply has no place in Xavi's plans for the 2023-24 season, meaning that an exit is the only way possible. Uh, so, what will Barca gain from Dest exits? Dest exit will allow Barcelona to have a rather free hand in terms of La Liga salary cap as well as financial fair play regulation. In this regard, we have already reported that the American exits will allow Barcelona to save 11 million euro gross, which would automatically boost the club's accounts. Furthermore, considering the fact that he still has a valid contract until 2025, Barcelona would rope in a decent transfer fee as well, which can later be utilized to sign a new right back, which happens to be Barcelona's priority. So, what about PSV's deal? According to ESPN, PSV are only interested in Dest for a season long loan with an option to buy. Basically, it is going to be the same deal that took him to AC Milan last summer, although the City A side decided not to make his move permanent. Now, despite signing the 22-year-old right back for an initial fee of 21 million euros plus a further 5 million in variables in 2020, it is said that Barcelona are seeking just 10 million euros for his permanent transfer at PSV, although they already have Jordan Teze as their first choice right back. The 23-year-old rather prefers to play centrally. This, combined with Barca's asking price of 10 million euros, should be enough for PSV to evaluate his permanent acquisition. Of course, Sergio Dest remains highly linked with an exit, as it is no secret that the player has no place in Xavi's plans. For the longest time, we've been talking about how Dest can be leaving Barca. Clubs haven't been showing interest as Barca should have hoped. And of course, PSV Eindhoven has been the club that in recent reports have been showing strong interest in Dest, but they want a loan move with an option to buy, not just a direct permanent move. But Barca are still open to that because they know that if they don't use this opportunity to cash in on Dest, then they might never see another club again. Dest's performances have been really poor during preseason after he has said he wants to convince Xavi to have faith in him, but he failed to do just that in preseason. And of course, we saw it against the Getafe clash. We didn't even see Sergio Dest in the lineup, even in the bench. Dest was totally excluded from the Barca squad in that match day one. Neither will we even are we expecting to see Dest in match day two against Cadiz on Sunday, which means that he has to leave the club for the betterment of his own footballing career. Dest is still a young player and he has a lot to play. And if his career have already started going into the wrong direction, then it's really something that is alarming. And the player needs to look for a destination where he can play more frequently. There were some reports in the past saying that Dest is seeking for a club that plays Champions League football, and I just laughed and asked myself that with these talents or with this performance that Dest have been showing, whose Champions League club will really go for Dest now? I doubt it. I doubt it. So let's just see how the operation with PSV Eindhoven will go, because as it stands right now, Sergio Dest, is still his future is still in limbo. It's still not yet concluded if he will go to PSV, but what is certain is Barca want to cash in on him before the summer window comes to a close. Then on to the final story of discussion. With Barca pushing so hard to sign a new right back this summer, they are working on two operations simultaneously on both Joao Cancelo and even Fresneda. Talks are underway with Man City for Cancelo, but the structuring of the agreement is proving to be a major hurdle. Um, as for Fresneda, the 18-year-old does not guarantee total consensus within the club, although the operation has the backing of the new sporting director Deco. However, if Barca do not act fast, the La Liga champions run the risk of missing out on Fresneda's signing, with competition for his services growing fast. Only earlier today, we reported that two unnamed Premier League clubs, as well as Portuguese giants Sporting CP and Porto, were showing interest in Fresneda. And it appears that one of the Premier League clubs that are looking at the 18-year-old right back are Chelsea. Indeed, ESPN is reporting that Chelsea are now considering making a move for Fresneda, who has a release clause worth 20 million euros in his contract with Real Valladolid. Now the 18-year-old has a preference for Barca and is already understood to have agreed personal terms with the club. And Deco is understood to be in constant touch with his representatives as he buys time to see how the Cancelo deal evolves. Even if Barca do sign Cancelo, they are not entirely ruling out the possibility of bringing in Fresneda as well, in which case the latter could be sent out on loan. But a decision needs to be taken quickly, and Chelsea are said to be keeping a close watch on developments. As iterated earlier, Fresneda has a release clause worth 20 million in his contract, but Valladolid would be open to selling him for a fee of around 10 million euros. So guys, with that we have come to an end of this episode. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time. Bye bye.